Niche selection feels hard, but I promise it's not. You're just overthinking it. Once you understand this, you'll never worry about niche selection again. That's not just hype. Before I tell you what the simplest niche in the world is, let me first tell you who I am and how I found this out. If you don't know me, my name's Carlos. I help non-creative, entrepreneurial folks like you make money from the internet. Start where you are and let's work with what you've got. Today, the only constant thing we can all rely on is change. Let me show you how to find your footing in the shaky sea of chaos. In 2008, I was a finance manager in the car world. I had just had the best year ever. I was making a solid six figures and I was on the fast track to paying off my condo. 1 year later, my financial world was on fire. The economy was a train wreck. Since nobody was buying cars anymore, the dealership I worked for was in trouble. Departments were closed, positions canceled, chaos and uncertainty was the new norm. The whole thing was a big giant spit show. My department had 3 full-timers. I was the youngest. The company wanted to keep me, but they didn't need 3 folks in that position. So I just got transferred. And although it was lucrative, I couldn't stand it. So I got a job closer to home, but that didn't work out either. Out of the frying pan into the fire. Dang it. What to do? Enter fun employment, baby. That led me down a troublesome rat hole for the next few years. While I won't get into too much detail here, let's just say I took a cooking class crash course that nobody wants, but everybody needs. I learned how to make humble pie. Everyone who learns how to eat this makes their own with different ingredients. But once you've had it, once you know what you're eating, some people don't just have a slice. Some only begin to appreciate it after having a whole pie, maybe even 2. Serve it up a la mode. Why not? Everything's better with ice cream. The key is learning to appreciate it, learn from it, use it to make the next part of your life better. Anyways, the point is I went through hell. So what? Everyone successful goes through it eventually. But here's the key. Hell's not a vacation spot. Don't try and find a 5-star hotel there. Just keep going. For me, I was trying all sorts of things. Flailing around like a fish on land. Trying this, trying that. All this while I had no idea what the heck I was doing. Finally came upon this online marketing thing. I've tried it in all its unusual flavors. Dropshipping, SEO, local marketing, Facebook groups, info products, software, copywriting. You name it, I've tried it. This is the part where I'm supposed to tell you which one thing is the magical thing that finally worked for me. Well, I will, but it's probably not what you're thinking. And it's not one and done. The truth is, everything worked. All of them. But none worked the way I thought they would. And none of them could keep me interested long term. I wasn't married to any one of them. The only thing I knew was I never wanted a traditional 9-to-5 job ever again. Never. See, when I was working that finance job, I didn't really love it either. I mean, I got good at it because I had to, but I was always thinking I'd eventually do something else. But when the organization I worked for chose my position for me, when they decided how I would serve them, and when I eventually got chewed up and spit out by the industry, I was lost. See, my identity was tied up in my job title. I was a finance guy, a sales guy, reluctantly, a car guy. They gave me a label and I wore it. Didn't question it for a second. It wasn't until my hellish adventure that I finally realized something. Your identity, the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you stand for, that's everything. The problem is, most people never stop to give much thought to who they are. It's assumed, or it's assigned. And you don't even realize how it happens. If you grew up pre-YouTube, most of your identity is wrapped up in your job. When you meet people for the first time, especially at something like a networking event, the first question they usually ask is something like, so what do you do? Your name, if they care to know it at all, that question comes later. Besides, if they want to know who you are, they can just read it. They gave you a name tag before you came in, didn't they? With the internet, it's a bit different. The internet is changing everything. It used to be you go to school, you get a degree, so you can get a good job, find a mate, get married, buy a house, have kids, and live life happily ever after. Today, that ain't so true. A degree is a slowly dying vanity metric. Necessary if you're a doctor or lawyer, but hardly if you want to do literally anything else. Trades are awesome, and they'll always be needed, but still, they're not as cool as being an online influencer. And that's the thing. Everyone wants to be an influencer. Everyone's playing a status game, and you can't help it. It's just how it is. But knowing what I know now, you can use that to your advantage. It's human psychology, like sunlight, gravity, wind, fire, or even electricity. It's natural. Created by the universe, but thanks to science, philosophy, and technology, it can now be harnessed by the smartest storytelling apes on the planet. Without teasing you much longer, you know what niche is the simplest niche in the world? What niche you don't have to compete in? One where you don't have to be the smartest, the fastest, the sexiest, the richest, or most creative? It's the niche you were given at birth. The niche is you. You are a niche. The universe naturally selected you. Think of everything that had to conspire to create you. You came from a long line of descendants. Their genes passed down to you successfully. And it only took them a few 100,000 years. You, the latest addition to the cosmic timeline. All of that genetic information somehow came together to produce you, the ultimate gift. And yet here you are, trying to decide what niche to be in. You are a niche. Embrace it. Own it. More than anything, I want you to know this. If you want to, you get to decide how you define it. Not only that, so long as you're alive, so long as you have the presence of mind to think about this, you get to redefine it however you want, as often as you want. The thing is, if you want to monetize it, you can't just do it willy-nilly. When it comes to making money, especially online, you got to remember this one thing. The niche of you has to be useful to others. You're going to have a hard time with this one, and it's okay. You don't have to pick a niche. You have to decide how you're going to be useful to others, and then make your usefulness known. How will you be useful? That doesn't need to have a single right answer, by the way. How you define yourself is difficult only because you keep trying to fit yourself to one label. Square peg, round hole. Doesn't matter the preferred professional or personal pronoun you use. They're all just labels. Easy to switch, like a sticky name tag. The only one that matters is how you define yourself. Who are you? Why? What usefulness can you contribute to the world? You don't have to be born with natural gifts. You can develop new ones. You don't even need to invent new things. Curate rather than create. Iterate. And then you innovate. Keep doing that. Repeat. Now, I know this probably sounds vague and abstract, but how can you monetize this? Well, there's a few ways. The key is learning to harness attention. Where's all the attention right now? For the majority of the world, it's online. Over the next little while, I want to teach you how to harness attention effectively online, and it's a lot simpler than you think. One of the best ways to do it is to hijack well-known attention magnets, or just piggyback on others. That includes brand names, celebrities, products, and accidents. You need ways to get discovered and be found. Once that happens, you need buzz. You want people talking about you, spreading your name. Unless you're trying to make that one viral hit video, that doesn't happen by mistake. The key? Attention. Harnessing it. Get buy-in. Trust. That's the hardest part. Once you've got that, monetizing it becomes easy. And fortunately for all of us, there are simple ways to do this. Simple. And sometimes that even means easy. Want to find out how? Let's discuss it in the next video. Questions? Drop them for me below. Remember, haters are always going to hate, but you don't have to dim your shine to light someone else's candle. The darkness is defeated in our collective light. Check out the description box for more useful stuff. If you want to get in touch with me, ways to do that are there too. I appreciate you. Did you find this video useful? If so, please give it a thumbs up. It's a small act from you, but means the world to me. If you don't want to miss future content like this, hit subscribe and set your notifications. For even more exclusive content, be sure and join the newsletter. Link is in the description. And now, check out one of these other useful videos.